Hello, good to see you. Whataboutism is a particularly irritating form of argument. You know, when you talk about, human rights protesters being arrested or disappearing in China, say, and someone says, oh yes, but what about the way people are arrested at demos in Britain? Still, having said that, I want to be a bit whataboutist myself. As we've been forcibly reminded as a result of the horrific murder of George Floyd on camera in front of our eyes, America's police have a pretty terrible record. In the last 7 years, they've killed more than 7,600 civilians. That's more than 1,000 a year. And only 95 policemen were charged in relation to those killings, and only 48 were actually convicted. Another statistic, out of the 1,100 people killed by the American police last year, a disproportionately large number were black, 264. That's double the percentage of black people in the US. Okay, no disputing it, it's a very serious problem. And in Britain too, though the figures are far, far smaller, a disproportionately large number of black people have died after being arrested, and black people are more than 3 times as likely to be arrested as whites are. But now comes the whataboutist bit. 2 countries have been loud in their criticisms of the US and its record, India and South Africa. And as a result, a number of Indians and South Africans have been on to me, and I'm sure to other journalists as well, to say you should be reporting what's happening in our countries too. So here goes. This is a headline from the respected magazine Quartz India. India's coronavirus lockdown is bringing out the worst in its police force. The magazine lists many cases of brutality and violence against migrant labourers and people who are often carrying out essential services like bringing in food from the countryside to the towns. And it shows video from the social media of the police beating up entirely innocent people. 2 years ago, the magazine says, a research institute found that less than 25% of Indians trusted their police. In South Africa, the ruling ANC has been quick to criticise police violence in the US, but the Independent Police Investigations Directorate there says that last year South African police killed 393 people and 214 people more died in police custody. That adds up to 607 deaths, far more in proportion to the population than the death rate at the police hands in the US. And of course, it's black on black. The Directorate also lists 270 cases of torture by the South African police, 124 rapes by them, and more than 3,800 cases of assault. And although the South African government was quick to condemn the death of George Floyd in Minneapolis, it hasn't yet publicly addressed the case of Collins Kosa, who lived in the black township of Alexandra in Johannesburg. He was beaten to death in his front yard there by soldiers and policemen. Altogether, black people in South Africa have a far, far greater chance of dying in a confrontation with the police than black people in America have. Not a pretty picture then. Perhaps the lesson is that instead of being so quick to condemn the awfulness that's been going on in America, governments around the world should maybe check to see what their own rate is first. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.